Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Let's talk soccer.
Oh, yeah.
No. All right,
Hey, Leeds won, okay? That means last year, by the way, the three teams who came on up in the Premier League, the first match they won, any of them, was in October. 2 of the 3 won the first day. Pretty big. Big stuff. Not enthused? Are you more enthused about Daniel Jones being the starting quarterback in Indianapolis?
Okay.
Let's start there. Let's start with this.
No, I want to start actually with what Penn State's doing, and you're going to get the first look today. The media will at the Greenberg Indoor Sports Complex area, and everything that they have in it, because this is going to be this is spectacular what they've done. I had gone through Clemson. And I've been around in Alabama a little bit, and there's so much that I saw there that I'm now seeing here. I mean, this is all, to me, game-changing stuff for around here. It's not, it's you have a bunch of areas in there where they've got recovery areas, bob pods, the training table area. I mean, this is. And people are going to get a look at it today, and this is for everybody. This is
a general
football.
athletic complex.
This is not just for football. So where the Morgan Academic Center is, this is now above that, and in the back. Okay, and for Penn State football, for example, it used to be you'd go over to Pollock for training table. In fact, my next door neighbor Jim Hopi for years. Was the guy in charge. I think Jim was in charge of that for like 33 years. But you'd have to walk down there, walk up the hill, go on over. Okay. And that's what you did. Well, now to have it, the training table there, and it's not just the training table there for football. I remember talking with somebody in track and field. Oh, boy, this may be about 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe a little more than that. And this when they were starting to put the nutrition bars out there, and they said, well, at least we have access to that. I said, yeah, well, I said, what about training tables? I said, we don't get training table. I mean, the track and field team did not get training table. Now everybody
has somewhere.
Is going, no, they can go there.
But that's the point, is they have somewhere they can now go.
Everybody can go to training table there. That makes a big difference, and recovery. I mean, let's keep it on the track and field part for a moment. Recovery, track athletes, recovery. You have that now. It's a game changer for Penn State, and it's forward thinking because recovery has become so important in sports across the board. And I'm talking about legal recovery. Yeah, because for years you've heard. I'll give you an example. Andy Pettit. Remember Andy Pettit tested positive for steroids? But if you listen to him, right? I'm not saying it's acceptable, but if you listen to him, one of the reasons he did because he was trying to recover faster, right? And steroids are often now prescribed to the average, and of course every time it happens, they put me on steroids. They go, hey, you look bulkier. It's like everybody makes the running joke all the time when that happens. But this is to have that, the recovery area, the training table area. These are all important for athletes because it's part of their training. As much as lifting a weight is, as much as doing a sprint is, recovery and nutrition are just as important to an athlete moving forward. I don't care whether it's a cold tub, a hot tub, right? It bothers me. They were showing, Jerry went through and was taking the tour and he jumped in the pool. I'm like, no, Jerry, that's the hot tub. Where do we find people?
I don't know, Steve. I don't know.
No, I have concerns. But this is so important, and it's Wonder what Joe would think of his old office now, because it used to be in Greenberg. Just like every time I go into rec, because I was talking to Mike Munchak the other day, right? And he's looking around like this. I said, Mike, what's wrong? He says, Jerry's not here, right? I said, no. So he says, good, I feel free to talk. No, but I was talking to Mike the other day, and we were talking about the day he got drafted. And I said, well, remember where we were? I said, we were up in Rec Hall. He says, oh, yeah. He says, it was the old sports information office. He said, they used to be Joe's office. I said, I know. I said, I actually did interviews back in that area in Rec Hall with Joe. That's how far back I go. Right. All right. God, all right. Okay, I'm old. Just stop, okay? No, I'm experienced, you people. I'm experienced.
Penn State Sports, they did share on their social media the images of this, so we're seeing it. It is shiny. Yeah. This is what it is. Oh, my gosh.
It's spectacular.
Yeah.
It's, having the Morgan Academic Center was a big step forward, right, for all the athletes. And I think it's made a big difference in some of the GPAs that we've seen, because now they have an area to go to, and they can get specialized tutoring if they need it. They have a study area if they need it. And that was a big one. This was something else that was absolutely needed. Now, all the renovation they put in over at football, with the offices, the training rooms. Okay, so the training rooms are separate from this, right? I mean, the training
football
rooms,
has their own facilities.
So does hockey. So does basketball.
Soccer's getting their facility built.
Soccer's getting their facility built. I mean, basketball. I'm going to go back 15 years. You know what the cold tub was? Kiddie pool with ice in it. I'm not kidding you.
It's crazy.
No, I saw it.
I know. That's crazy.
Right? That's insane. Right? Now, of course, they have a hot tub and a cold tub in the Jordan Center.
Is that because Jerry broke the kiddie pool? Jumped in it, broke it?
It was an accident. Right? Pagula, of course, has all this. And I remember doing a BTN broadcast, and we were having a meeting beforehand, and the analyst said, man, he said, I took a walk around this place. He said, the only place I've seen that's comparable to this is Toronto. Right? Now, this is a guy from the NHL. Right? So these are the kind of facilities Penn State's putting forward. Now, if they can just get, I think McKenna's here now. Did you hear about his odyssey? He went to fly in this weekend.
Gavin McKenna.
And Gavin McKenna goes, and Air Canada went on strike. like we have a problem. But I did see yesterday the Athletic has him as the first overall choice in the draft. Look, it's exciting that he's here. I know I want to go see him play. I think everybody does. Right? Just like when you get a great wrestler that comes in, you can't wait to see the guy wrestle. Like he could be a 4-time champion. Like Carter Starachi wrestles. You don't sit there and think, hey, I think he could be a 5-time champion. That doesn't happen. But I mean, that's what makes this place exciting, is that you have so many exciting athletes that come in, women, men, right, that make you want to go see the games. I can't wait to watch Saquon Barkley. I can't wait to watch Micah Parsons. I can't wait to watch this football team. So, yeah, that's what makes, this. There's a lot of exciting things going on around here. People were asking me about parking. Hey, how many parking spaces were wiped out by the construction on the west side? None. You didn't lose any. Because the construction zone extended out. Well, the construction zone is not going to be there. You're not going to have people walk through a construction zone to get upstairs.
It was only there for the time being while they were doing active
all those
stuff.
Spaces, like somebody said, well, where's your space? Well, my space was covered up in the construction zone. I have my space, right? So they're all coming back. The area where they did lose, and it started last year, so this is already lost to begin with, is where they built the bubble.
Yeah, it's in Stadium West, where the bubble was built, where the soccer facility is getting built. Yes. It was that region.
Yeah, that region. I think where the soccer locker rooms and offices are, I don't think there was really any parking.
They lost a little. They lost like a couple dozen spots.
Yeah, where that is. I don't really think there was much there.
No,
but where the bubble is, there were a lot of spaces. But they need the bubble because every time I've gone into Huluba Hall, there has been something or somebody in there doing something because that's why it's there. But it's booked from like 5 o'clock in the morning until midnight all the time. So you need to have something to take the pressure off of that, and that's what the bubble will do. But that's what they're doing with facilities here. And, it's a real credit to everybody as to what they've been able to do to make the experience better here.
Yes.
And it's a real credit to all the people who donated the money
to make this happen.
Because they understood the need once it was explained to them. And I think it's these are difference makers for Penn State moving forward.
Greenberg is finalized. The soccer facility is getting dealt with right now. That's middle of construction. They're making pretty good progress on that one. So those two are getting done.
Yeah.
And now we make our way to Indianapolis, Mr. Steve Jones, where the Colts have selected Coach Shane Steichen has announced Daniel Jones, former Giants quarterback, former Vikings backup, I believe, is going to be the starter on a 1-year, $14 million contract, taking over for the club's 2023 first-round pick, Anthony Richardson. Your thoughts, sir?
All right. When people ask me about individual players when I go out to speak, hey, Steve, what about this guy? And somebody who's not quite there yet. And I'll say that I always say the same thing over and over again. It's about maintaining a high level of consistency. I said the problem for said player is being inconsistent. Let's take a wide receiver. He may make 3 catches like wow, and then drop 2. Okay. Anthony Richardson. His problem, he has 2 problems: injuries and inconsistency. Injuries were not a problem for him at the University of Florida. Inconsistency was. He is not really a different quarterback today than he was at Florida. I mean, no difference.
Same guy.
I remember watching, it may have been they may have been playing Florida State. It was at the end of the year. And he kept getting the ball back, and it was just watching a roller coaster, right? And that's been his problem. Yeah. He gets banged up. He plays hard.
Yeah.
And he's a great athlete. But he is just incredibly inconsistent. Now, saying Daniel Jones is more consistent can be a stretch at times.
I also wonder, and this is just a personal thing. I know last season, end of October, there was the incident where Richardson subbed himself out in the middle of a drive. They needed it. And his response was, quote, "I was tired."
Right.
And I know, as someone who played just basic high school level sports, I would have been pissed at that if I was a teammate of his. And you just, unless you are like currently, if we know ahead of time, like what Kristaps Porzingis dealt with this season, where he was literally sick all season, didn't know what was wrong, and he didn't have the energy to play. If it's that's one thing.
You're right.
But if it's just my conditioning isn't good enough, or I just was tired and I wanted to take a play off, and you are the quarterback of your team, the leader of your football team, and you're like, I gotta sit for a play.
Well, see, that was my issue.
Matters.
That's on the college level. That's my issue with Castellanos. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, he did do that. That's a maturity issue.
Like, I wonder how well that went over in the Colts locker room this past season.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But I'm also a believer in second chances. I have, people can make mistakes in life, and I mean, that's a big one, but it's not fatal, right? And you should get a second chance if you prove yourself. Now you do it again, now you've lost everybody. Can't do it again. You lose everybody. I think the issue here is quite simple. The guy that was more consistent during the preseason was Daniel Jones, and he's the guy that ends up getting the job. Castellanos, who I've already pointed out, 8 games, Bill says you're not going to be the starter. I quit. Well, why don't you be the backup? No. You quit. And then eventually, a month later, put his name in the transfer portal. I mean, in other words, he didn't wait till the end of the season.
Nope. He was out.
He was out. That transfer portal. I mean, you're allowed to transfer and play right away someplace else?
Crazy.
I wonder why the NCAA didn't think about that with the Michigan team. Okay, weird. Well, that's okay. It's a different story. But That's what it comes down to. And that's why, look, this is the week where teams are naming starting quarterbacks. So because in that case, who's moving you forward into game one? So Joe Flacco will be the starter. No surprise in Cleveland day one. I'm not really surprised Daniel Jones is starting day one with the Colts. I'm not really surprised. Let's pretend I've ever seen him do anything except throw the ball in a warm-up. But Julian's saying, I'm not really surprised in the end that he wins the quarterback job at Ohio State.
Falcons said Michael Penix is officially the starter for Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
this is about the time to do it. Ohio State's had these things where I think it was like a couple days before the season before we named Kyle McCord the starter. Okay. But like people will say, well, why now? Well, training camp's over now. It's now transition time for the teams that are opening up on the 30th or the week of the 30th, right, where they're making the transition out of their training camp and into their game week routines, the extra practices you're going to have for said opening opponent. That's why this is the week that Aguilar gets named to Tennessee, why Sayan gets named this week at Ohio State, among others across the country. Penn State doesn't have to do that. Illinois doesn't have to do that. Rutgers doesn't have to do that. They already knew who their starting quarterback was going in. But that's why it's being that this is that transition time. That's why they're naming starting quarterbacks now.
Going away from the college game to the professional side of things, of course, we've discussed the Celtics officially were sold to Steve Pagliuca and his group. Pagliuca also was looking to buy the Connecticut Sun.
Right.
Connecticut Sun, it was going to be a record-breaking $325 million franchise sale, but the league then commented because the deal was going to be that they get to then move the team to Boston. It was going to be a whole thing. They'd buy them, move them to Boston. The league essentially was like, hey, relocation decisions are made by the WNBA Board of Governors, not by individual teams. So the Mohegan Sun group and the Mohegan group in general is proposing to the league the next set of items. Either A full franchise sale to Pagliuca's group, which then I'm assuming he'd try and push them to relocate to Boston. A sale to a group headlined by a former Milwaukee Bucks owner, Mark Lazary, who would relocate the team to Hartford. Selling a minority stake in the organization, or allowing the league to purchase the franchise for $325 million and relocate it from the WNBA's smallest market. And a source close to the ownership group says the tribe is frustrated and feels the league is presenting a one-path option, relocate of the team to a market of their choosing and a value of their choosing. So.
Okay.
And apparently the league offered to buy the Sun for $250 million and not charge the buyer an additional relocation fee.
Okay, so the Connecticut Sun happened to be the single most unusual franchise in the WNBA. Because everybody else is in an NBA market. They are not. I believe they were Orlando.
Yes.
And they were moved up.
They were Orlando. They were moved up.
They were moved up.
In 2003.
Right. So they're the only one not an NBA market. If you had, let's just say is it the Chicago Sky? Is that what they're called? The Chicago Sky. Then they're not going to move. Let's say they were purchased by somebody and they want to move them. He wants to, say he or she wants to move them to Boston. They could. Right? They could. Right? Right? But what makes this unusual is that you're trying to buy a team that is not in an NBA market. Right? And if they dictated, for example, you got to go to Cleveland.
Yeah.
You're just going to an NBA market. You're just not going to Boston. Well, this is one where it's the only non-NBA market in the WNBA. That's what makes this so unusual as to what they want to do. We want to move them to Boston. Well, no, our league charter says they have to go to, was it Cleveland?
The league charter there, no. I believe if they were sold, it would just be that the league would decide where they'd move to, but they don't know if it would be to one of the teams like the Cleveland or Detroit, one of the teams that are coming in, or Philly, or if they would then try to expand further, move them to Boston or move them to Providence. There are a couple of options that have been put on the table, apparently. If you move to Providence, it doesn't do anything.
Providence.
The thought would be...
We're playing in the Dunkin' Donuts Center.
The only
I've done one game
thing,
there, by the way.
I would expect, as you kind of are, as I am as well, if they're going to get moved, it's going to be one of these three franchises, Detroit, Cleveland, Philly, which doesn't seem likely because they're trying to expand, not get rid of a team. Or they would move them to Boston as part of the next phasing in of moving teams. So move them to Boston, keep a team, and then all of a sudden you put them from Eastern Connecticut to Boston, which is an hour from there, give or take, hour and a half at most from the Mohegan Sun?
I think it's an hour and a half.
Yeah. So an hour and a half east to Boston, similar range.
I'm taking into account Route 95 traffic.
Yeah, I was going to say, including 95 traffic, an hour and a half. If you take back roads, an hour. and if you drive...
Okay, it's an hour if you go after midnight.
Yes.
Okay.
But the point is you'd all of a sudden get Boston instead of Eastern Connecticut, which is a little bit more valuable if I were taking a guess. I know you're from Eastern Connecticut. I'm from CT. If I was hedging a guess on their option here, their choice, if they had their druthers, they would pick Boston over Mohegan Sun.
Oh, of course they would.
Yeah.
In terms.
What I will say, by the way, I have been to a lot of Connecticut Sun games. Very fun. I went to a lot as a kid. Very fun time.
I would like to point out that I have never seen one. Mm-hmm. I've done several games at the Mohegan Sun Arena. Mm-hmm. I've done several games there. Yale, a couple games at the Hartford Civic Center, the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence. I've done a lot of games. But Penn State's playing there this year against Providence. Mm-hmm. It's a nice arena. It's fine. I told you the story about my brother, right?
We discussed that,
He's like gambling. Like, he says, what'd you think of the game? Big win. He goes, you won? It's like he got on a roll. But they've been the only team in the WNBA that at some point, they're the only one, at some point actually made some money.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the UConn influence, they draw well. Conversely, several of the other WNBA teams, in fact, a lot of them, have moved out of the NBA arena
to their own.
Have moved to the G League arena.
A lot have.
Like the Atlanta Dream. Hey, they play at the no, they don't. They play at the G League arena.
The only team that really has their own arena is would be the Aces. One of the very few. Because the Aces play, the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah.
They play in their own.
Yeah, but that's the other non-NBA market.
Yeah.
So they have to have their own arena. I don't know which arena they play in there.
I think it's T-Mobile is what
I want to say. Is it where the Vegas Golden Knights play?
Las Vegas Aces Arena is Michelob Ultra Arena.
Okay.
Which is the former Mandalay Bay Events Center.
Okay. Yeah. It's smaller.
It's where they play and where the Las Vegas Desert Dogs, the National League Lacrosse play. 12,000 seater.
Yeah, it's a smaller arena.
Yeah. Still pretty good size.
T-Mobile's like 19,000. I've seen it.
12K is not bad, though.
It's all right.
By any means.
I think Mohegan Sun's 9.
Mohegan Sun.
I want to say it's 9, like 9,9,400.
Sounds right. It's like just short. It says capacity is 10,000 on the dot. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an unusual situation.
It is.
And it's unusual because they were moved there specifically because of the UConn women's basketball influence. In other words, they weren't doing well in Orlando.
Yeah.
So they said, hey, let's try something out of the box. And they were also, because the Celtics had nothing to do with them being in Connecticut. So they weren't associated with the Celtics. Like the Sky's associated with the Bulls, you know, not the Connecticut Sun. No, it's a different situation. The league has made advances. There's no question about that. But it's got a long, long way to go. No matter what anybody says, it's got a long, long way to go.
The latest from Alexa Philippou and Ramona Shelburne is that if the team were to move city-wise, the league might look at moving them. If the option is there to Boston as one, the other option, as you mentioned, would be to Cleveland to then get Houston in as well. So they would try and move them to Cleveland, get Houston, and get Boston at the same time. Do all three at once, which would be a lot. Because there are going to probably be 2 more teams added in to make it to 20 teams. The next possible one would be Houston. Another location that, of course, does not have a city, sport-wise and WNBA-wise, is Boston. That's where this move comes in, because you're moving them an hour and a half east. Not the biggest move. Kind of makes sense. But we'll see.
Well, they've had a couple of games that have been played in Boston. One of them, though, was the Fever with Caitlin Clark. I mean, are you still going to be able to draw in Boston when the Seattle Storm comes in?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the question.
I only asked the question not to be cynical, but just to ask the question. I mean, I think it's a fair question, and it's something you don't know unless it happens. You know, you don't know.
Yeah. BYU has made history as Bear Bachmeier is the starting quarterback, the true freshman. He is the first true freshman in school history to start an opener for BYU. Wow. He's going to wear the number 47. He won the job, beating out BYU's redshirt sophomore transfer McKay Hillstead from Utah State, and redshirt junior transfer Trayson Bourget from Western Michigan. Of course, he starts due to incumbent Jake Retzloff transferring to Tulane after his withdrawal from the school due to a 7-game suspension violating the school's honor code. So Retzloff out to Tulane. Now Bear Bachmeier starts for the BYU Cougars, and their first game is August 30th against Portland State. He's a true freshman. He's 18 years old. Wow.
Yeah, well,
it's cool.
So a lot of the BYU guys are 25, 26. I mean, at some point it had to happen.
Yeah.
It's not as if, look, Penn State's had freshman starter quarterback. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's, I'm not really all that interested in how BYU plays football this year. I'm extremely interested in how they play basketball this year.
Because AJ DeBansa.
No, it's a $35 to $40 million roster. That's that's one of those, let's see whether it was worth the money. That's why I think it's intriguing.
Going to the basketball side of things, speaking of, John Wall announced his retirement from basketball, the 5-time NBA All-Star from Kentucky, played for the Wizards, Clippers, and Rockets. My brain is really confused seeing players retire that I started watching as a kid, like watching the league. Like, he was a 2010 NBA player. 2010, 2011 is his first year. He won Rookie of the Year, made the All-Star team, was really electric, was that similar style to Russell Westbrook where he just jumps really high and is really athletic and could do crazy things. So John Wall announced his retirement from the league.
He made a lot of money.
He made a lot of money.
He had some very good moments. The problem is what I just said. He had some very good moments.
Yes.
All right. He did not have an overall consistently great career. He had a lot of injuries, and inconsistency plagued him, and injuries plagued him.
So that happened.
He's one of those guys that people built up. I'm like going, I watch him play and go, okay. I don't. Some days I saw it, and some days I didn't.
Yeah, and I know we are not an ESPN program, but I do want to bring up ESPN if that's all right with you.
I don't care.
Last night,
he always says that to me. I always say, sure, I don't care.
Last night's 11 p.m. Eastern Time Sports Center was hosted 22 years from his prior one by Rich Eisen.
Yeah.
He hosted it last night, 11 p.m. to midnight, and they did the throwback theme, they did all this stuff, and social media is like loving it to death. Like, it is incredible. And I watched it last night in part because I love Rich Eisen. He's one of my favorite people to listen to. And I appreciate how he talks about sports and discusses everything. And of course, his last show hosted was May 28th, 2003. So he hosted it. He made multiple mentions of Stuart Scott, who he used to co-host with Sports Center with.
Yep, they were good together.
But fans are saying this is what we want more of with ESPN. We want less of the talky. We want more of this. And by the way, another thing popping up, just to, again, changing subjects again, Auburn has officially claimed 4 more college football national championships, apparently. I don't know how that works.
Okay.
But they are.
I will explain how it works.
Yeah, they're claiming 4, which I guess I can claim a Super Bowl title, Steve?
No.
Oh.
All right. As you know, before the BCS, it was polls. And there are polls all over the place. I have never advocated for Penn State to claim 5 other national championships. I never have. But I have always said that in the media guide, the teams that were recognized by somebody as a national champion, 1911, 1912, 1969, okay? 1981 and 1994, those 5 should have a special recognition in the media guide that they did it. Well, then, in other words, let's just do this in pictures. Big picture, 1982. Big picture, 1986. Smaller picture, but decent size, 1911, 1912, 1969, 1981, and 1994. Then other teams after that, Big Ten champions. Boom, 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 boom. Right? They should be recognized by Penn State within their own media guide because they were declared by somebody as a national champion, and not just by an entity. All of these actually had multiple entities, not the AP, not the UPI, right? But other entities declared them a national champion, whether it's Dunkel, whether it happens to be the New York Times computer poll, whether it happens to be the Touchdown Club in Washington, whatever. It's okay. I have no problem with Auburn doing that. I have no problem with that. Right? But I wouldn't put it out there as the official national champions. Penn State has 2 official national champions, and they also have 5 other teams that were declared by somebody as a national champion. If you look it up in the NCAA, media guide, the NCAA record book lists all the national champions from a given year.
It does.
Okay? And I put this, I've been hammering on this for 40 years now. That's when I first found it. I got the NCAA media guide or the record book, and I was going through it like, hey, wait a minute, look at all these national championships that Penn State at least had somebody declare. And I at least have felt that Penn State itself, that I remember 1994. Of course, you have the Lion logo on the back of the board now. Well, they had on the back of the board in the 90s, Penn State's national champion years, 82. And Joe had them put up the national championship in 1994 on New York Times computer poll. And there were people who were like, I can't believe you take it. What's wrong with you people? I've been baffled forever. Oh, you're just so high and mighty. Stop, for God's sakes. Somebody thought you were the national champion. It's okay. I'm trying to think. They lost, how many games did they lose? Oh, that's right, none. Right? So you're willing to sit there and get ripped off by these people, right? So that's okay with you.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's always bothered me that they
haven't done it.
That they haven't done it, and then when it's brought up, you actually have people complain about it that are Penn State fans. 1969 lost. Oh, that's right, no games. They won 22 consecutive games in 68-69. They had an undefeated streak of 30. What? So in other words, they deserve to get nothing? But somebody thought they were an NCAA champion in 69. I mean, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's ridiculous.
Covering more Penn State bases, Penn State announced some more graduate recognition for some players who came back to get their degrees.
Yes.
Jack Crawford, Pat Fryermuth, and Curtis Jacobs.
Yeah, I think that's
all
great.
Finished out their degrees here at Penn State. And speaking of former Nittany Lions, last night, the big guy on display, Mitchell Tinsley. He was put on display by the Bengals. He had himself a heck of a game. 5 catches, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns, made some incredible catches. People were freaking out like, oh my gosh, this guy needs a contract right now, please and thank you. So shout out to Tinsley. He was crushing it last night.
I always liked Tinsley. Good, solid, reliable player. I know Sean liked throwing to him.
Yeah.
Because he was dependable. And it makes a big difference.
And he made some incredible catches last night. So shout out to him. Doing well. Now we're sitting here, and the countdown is really well and truly on to football season. The Vikings, by the way, will get a 4th-year compensatory draft pick in next year's draft, depending on Daniels' playing time. So if he plays more, they'll get a 4th-round pick.
It's
possibly.
It's more than that, to be honest with you, because they now have to make a big decision on Richardson as to whether they pick up his 5th-year option for 2027.
Yes. So they have this year, they have next year, and then that would be it, hypothetically, if they decline.
Right.
So we will see.
Let's see here. So just very quickly. 1911. Okay. Penn State was named by the National Championship Foundation. 1912, Penn State named by the National Championship Foundation. This is in the NCAA record book. Okay, I'm using the NCAA record book here. I'm not using something else. So now let's get to 1969. This would be Jack's team. Penn State was named by Sagarin, FACT, and one other organization I'm not sure of. Okay, but 3 different organizations named Penn State the national champion. Okay, I know 1981 got recognized. It got recognized by Dunkel in 1981. 82 and 86 we already know. And the last one would be 1994. 1994. So Penn State in 1994, where I open this up here a little bit, was named by 6 different organizations. 6 as a national champion. Really? In other words, it's I'm not saying you say they're official national champions, but they were recognized by somebody as a national champion, and they should at least get footnotes in the media guide that they were. And Penn State needs to change its policy on that because they have at least 7 teams that were thought of by somebody as a national champion, 2 being obviously consensus.
Thank you for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, a 7 Mountain Media production. Come back at 11 every weekday